Good afternoon, Cocoa Beach Junior Senior High School. My name is Sean McKaig, and I'm evaluating you today in the area of color guard and auxiliary. We've got the props in hand, indicating that we're going somewhere. Beautiful scenery depicting on the field. Show concept defined as tracks. Good demonstration of skill. Make sure that the front toes are turned out as we go down into that. Good sense of centering with regard to body alignment and the ability to come back from the ground to the standing position. Tone de flesh could be a little bit greater in range with regard to control and definition. Passe combined with the chassé, moving here. Work on the finesse of those moves to ensure that they are as articulated as possible. Yep. Sequencing of events is slightly different from individual to individual. Make sure as we pick up the silk that it's already unwrapped for us. One of the ways we can do that is you strip the material from the top and then kind of bunch it up underneath the tab or the handle where you pick it up. That way you don't have to unroll it through the course of the choreography. Timing and articulation of the equipment work. Something that always has to be in a movement where we're aiming for synchronous effects. Yep. Dealing with the wind. Definitely understood and appreciated from my vantage point. I'm right here in front of you in the stands on the 50-yard line. Keep those heads projecting and lifting up. Make sure that we're watching and performing to the audience with a sense of audience engagement, a commitment to the individuals that are here to watch us and appreciate our performance. Got a little bit of side-to-side watching, making sure that we're, in sequence with the rest of the individuals. Sometimes that simply comes from age and experience. Choice in detailing of costuming, right down to the footwear, as well as the stylized bun and the hair is working well for the ladies. Introduction of the solo rifle. Timing on the actual initial toss could be a little bit stronger. But the engagement, we kind of snuck the one performer all the way around the field, but then she becomes very visible when she's walking behind the pit ensemble that's placed on the field. You may want to think about that as a transitional effort, making sure that it's not overlooked with regard to detailing. Romantic nature of the couple getting on the train. Big connection between the solo flag performer and the flautist. Make sure that the equipment work is stylized and accentuates the musicality of what's occurring within the soundtrack. Make our highs and our lows our lows. Could be quite a lovely moment. Needs to be a little bit more expressive in terms of how we're engaging our audience at that point. Are we performing to the soloist, or are we performing to the audience? Are we carrying and establishing a mood for the audience? Felt like that was supposed to be a little bit romantic in nature, but it never fully went there. I didn't get to see some of that passion and excitement coming from the performer. Introduction of the swing flag's a little bit awkward on the handoff. Placement of the 3 performers behind the band. Okay, demonstrating ability to integrate. Not sure it's going to give you the maximum visual that you're wanting. Definitely clears the palette, or clears the scene for the company front being offered from the musicians at that point. Make sure that we have full memorization of the individual responsibilities. When it comes up, when it comes down, when it comes up, when it comes down. The timing of that is all critical and important. Think about the musicality of these moments, making sure that we're picking up on the details within the soundtracks, that the highs are high, the lows are low. There's some type of visual engagement from the facial contribution to the audience in front of you. Okay, distribution and weighting of the performers. You've got one on the 30, one on the 40, one on the 50, opposite sides of the field. Make sure we utilize the dimensions of the field and the shapes that are created in here. And we've got these little voids now. That would have been a great spot for the color guard to have been placed in between those voids with the band proper at that point. Sometimes we kind of have more ideas than we have time, so I definitely understand. Coming in, resolving to a tighter, denser form, creating a different texture with regard to the pictures that we're creating. Yep. Appreciate the toss there at the end. Well manipulated. Okay. Number of different things that can be done throughout the course of the program to continue the growth. Performers, continue training, continue to watch one another, continue to ask questions of one another. With your own group being a smaller team, there's obviously the opportunity to be as unison as possible with regard to hand placements, motivation of the equipment, where does that come from, where does the energy come from to develop a certain skill or perform a certain skill. Where is it that we're performing to? Don't be afraid to watch one another and give suggestions to one another as you continue your growth process. Looks like you're started on something in terms of the training process and how to make those things come together. I appreciate the production quality that's being put into the program with regard to the use of the flats, some strategic planning with regard to where we placed certain moments within the show. We did kind of resolve back to that front 50 quite a bit, and that young lady ends up being a little bit of a narrator throughout the course of that. So make sure that that's a role that you are most comfortable with as you lift and transmit that message, whatever the message of that song, whatever the theme, whatever the feeling and texture that you want to create for the audience. Make sure that that is something that's expressed from the performer all the way up to the top of the press box for maximum enjoyment. I certainly hope that my comments have been helpful. I encourage you to continue your training efforts, continue to work as a team, continue to grow your program, and come roaring into the next season. Continue to recruit, add members to your composition, and enjoy the attributes of what you did today. Wonderful job. Thank you, ladies.